Welcome back, y'all. This is episode 12, part 2.
Part 2. We're going to pick right back up with what I said while we weren't recording.
Do go on.
So, I'm AB, by the way.
And I'm the panda.
Did we introduce ourselves?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did. We failed
I talked
again.
about myself in the third person, though, because I opened it with AB as
good point,
the panda.
good point. Yeah, okay. Well, I'll let it slide.
They'll get it. So, while we quit the recording, I mentioned that in high school, which was 11 years ago now for me.
Oh, God, we're old.
God, shut up. So, junior and senior in the U.S., we have grades pre-K through 12th grade. 11 and 12 is junior and senior years of high school. I was in AP English in junior and senior year. So we had assigned readings. I cannot tell you what we read for junior, so I'm not talking about that. But for my senior year AP class, we had a summer reading, and it was Tess of the D'Urbervilles. Cannot tell you who wrote it, but I do remember one of our first assignments, our first series of assignments was on that book. Still don't know how the heck they kept me in AP English, because all it was is you read literature and you try to interpret what the significance of the book was, what the significance of the characters was, what the significance of certain sentences were, what was going on at the time. I couldn't tell you what was happening at the time the book was written. I wasn't told to research, hey, this is the year that the book was written, what was happening at this time at this place. Couldn't tell you that.
No, I was the same way. I'm horrible at that stuff. I used to bomb on tests. I remember actually, I think it was on the ACT, because you had the reading section. It's what was the author trying to convey here? Or what?
I don't fucking know!
And you get the multiple choice, so you're supposed to figure out. And I was just one of those kids, I read the same thing everyone else read, but I didn't get the same interpretation of it. So I would always bomb those sections.
See, I don't know how the heck I did well in those, because I remember I took the placement test when I applied for university, and I did well in everything except for math. Math and science.
Our math was horrible.
Yeah, God, our math teachers were they were nice, but I don't feel like I got much out of it.
No, sorry, I'll get back to math.
Yeah, but I'm one of those people that I love to read, but I read just for the pleasure of reading and getting the story and getting out of my head for a while.
Yeah.
I don't like to read in depth. I don't like to analyze every single little word that is on the page. That makes no sense to me. If the author is trying to convey a message, I have a feeling that you're gonna get right away what the message is. If it's a good author. So that's my one peeve. Don't force me to read for academic purposes. Mm-hmm. That's one thing I hate. That's why I didn't do well in literature in university.
No, I'm with you there. I think a lot of kids don't, though, right? Because a lot of times the books don't interest them, or they don't maybe get the book at all. It goes over their head.
And they're not taught to interpret the things that they're reading in different ways.
Yeah. Well, and quite frankly, I'm sorry. I don't think the interpretation is important. I think it's stupid.
It is.
When there are certain things, yes, you want to be sure students can interpret when they read and think critically, but
mostly you want to make sure that they can get the information they need out of what they're reading.
Yes, you want to make sure they understand and comprehend, whereas it feels like the school is just testing you as if if you were going to be a professor, you need to be able to cover all these angles and understand what, and you're like, no, I'm not going to be, or this is
How
not
have we
important
done
now.
in our job of trying to make you a perfect little machine?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The only purpose of school is to crush the creativity out of these kids, because all the art programs, the extracurricular programs, the musical programs, they're getting cut.
Yeah.
So what's the point? If your kid wants to be an artist, sorry, your school doesn't offer an art program.
Yeah.
If your kid wants to be a musician, all they have in band is brass, the percussion, and the woodwinds. There's no piano, there's no guitar.
No.
There's nothing else.
No, I mean, it's getting worse now because schools are just pushing STEM on everyone.
Yeah.
Because in order to compete in the global market now, apparently everyone just has to do math and science to hell with the arts.
But that doesn't work because you're shoving all these people into the science courses that they don't like science, they don't understand it, so they're going to do poorly.
Exactly.
And they're going to go into debt because they're trying to do well in these courses and they're just failing.
As someone who tried to power through their undergrad in a program they probably shouldn't have started in, I can definitely attest to this. It's just not a good idea to try and force yourself to go through something you don't like.
And then they tell people, you're never going to be rich. Well, guess what? All the super rich people that we want to aspire to be to, they didn't go to college.
Yeah, it's surprising how many of them literally just dropped school, right?
Yeah, they're
college.
super intelligent, but they all did badly when they were in a university or a college.
Because they ended up finding their passion once they got out.
Yeah, or while they were in there and ready to give up, and they're like, oh, hey, this is what I'm good at. So,
Everyone is different, and the way schools are, you just don't have that chance, like we said earlier, to find what you're good at and what you're passionate about and to pursue that. You're just taught, no, this is what you need to know to be a civil person in this country, so
literally,
do it.
everything we learn in middle school and high school, I cannot tell you one thing. Well, I can tell you one thing. The percentage equation. That's the one thing that I actually use.
Well, it makes me angry, right? Because I feel like we're trying to fix the wrong thing. So, like we were talking about before, the increasing the school year.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything. That's
So
going to make kids want to skip even more.
Keep kids in school longer as if, like, that's going to fix the issues?
No.
No.
It doesn't work. It just makes kids want to not go to school anymore, and then they're not going to be ambitious enough to go to college.
Well, what happened to winning people to, like, have time to play and, you know...
Find themselves. Find the thing that they are good at. Find their one talent that they can nurture.
I guess you could probably just tie it into what you said before, which is just crushing creativity. Because I guess the school system is starting to see that as wasted time. Well, you're not in school. You're not learning. You're not getting...
You don't deserve to have an after-school life.
Yeah. You have to go home and work and do homework because when you get out into the workforce, you're just going to have a miserable life where you just work all the time.
Oh, God, that's our life now.
It literally just feels that way to me, like...
We're just trying to turn our society into a little machine. Like, you are born, you grow up a couple years, you go to school, you go to school, you go to school, you go to school, you start a job, you go to school, you go to job, you go to school, you go to a job, you get married, you're probably still in school, you graduate, you still got a job, you got to pay for everything now.
Yeah.
And you're probably in debt from going to school all those years. So you got a job, you got a family, you're still paying off your school, so job, family, pay off your school, and then you die.
Right. We've just shifted from, working to live to living to work.
Yes!
In the U.S., even once you get out of school, like, the whole problems we're having now with the economy, right? Everyone goes to school thinking they'll get a better job.
No.
And they get higher education, spend tens of thousands of dollars, and then we end up getting minimum wage jobs and paying off debt the rest of our lives.
And then those jobs are slowly diminishing as well because they're being replaced by machinery.
Exactly. And,
so then what's the point?
To try and make up money, we just work longer and longer and find more jobs.
And you're expected to find a job earlier and earlier.
Yeah.
It's like by the time you're 16, if you don't have a job, you're useless.
Yeah, pretty
much. Your parents don't want to pay for your stuff. If you don't do anything, you gotta have a job, and then you don't have time to do anything but go to school, go to your job, and then after your job, do your homework and stay up really late, and then have to get up early to go to school again.
Like, no wonder, like, so many people are miserable, and I quite frankly can't help but think, like, this contributes to, like, all the health problems we have, too.
Yeah, and the rising rates of suicide in young people.
Yeah, people are stressed out because life is suddenly just about fucking school and working.
Yeah, like, there is so much anxiety associated with high school anymore. Like, I'm surprised I didn't develop, like, some kind of anxiety. But I think that's because I'm an asshole and I didn't care about school.
I was going to say before, though, like, I don't know if your experience was the same. Like, in school, the thing that always pissed me off was when teachers love to tell you, oh, well, enjoy it while you can. This will be the best years of your life.
High school was the worst years of your life.
It was horrible, right?
Yeah, I can imagine what it's like for kids now.
And once you get out, like they all just love to emphasize the fact that, like, oh, when you grow up, you're just going to get a job and be miserable because there's nothing to look forward to.
They're miserable now. You're miserable while you're in school. You're miserable while you're sitting in the classroom listening to this teacher telling you that you're just going to be miserable later on in life. That's
what pissed me off. It always felt like they wanted to emphasize how negative life will be. And they're always like, oh, well, if you're not in class or showing up on time, you know, don't expect me to feel sorry for you because your job won't have mercy. And it's like, that is...
dude, I am at least 5 minutes late to my job every day that I go to work. I work at an independent pharmacy, but literally no one gives a shit.
No, all the jobs I had during school, same way. I would show up late all the fucking time. That's not to say my boss didn't sometimes get annoyed about that, but it was not... It's not like this mentality I got from school or I understood that, where it's like, oh, you'd be fired on the spot.
Right, and that's a lie. And like in our school system, in our town school system, 3 tardies, whether it's like a few seconds or a minute, 3 tardies equal an absence. A certain amount of absences, you get in-school detention. If you get more absences, you get after-school detention. Even more absences, you're expelled.
School is literally starting to feel like the prison system.
I think a prison.
They are obsessed with punishing people now.
They are.
It's not about learning. It's not about, creativity. It's about punishment.
The rigidity of the schedule that you have to keep.
Exactly. They want you to be a certain kind of person, and if you're not this person, you get punished.
If you don't fit the mold, we're going to try to force you into it. We're going to cut off bits and pieces of you.
Yeah.
So you can fit into this and make you miserable, make you want to kill yourself.
Isn't this a happy life? Isn't this what we all are fighting for? Isn't this fantastic?
Fuck no!
I mean, seriously, what in the hell? How are people supposed to enjoy? Everything is shifting now.
Mm-hmm. And teachers are bitter, too, because they don't have very good pay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they don't even care anymore, and they are not even trying, so they want to make their students just as miserable as they are.
Yeah, our education is supposed to get better, and teachers get paid peanuts.
For real, like, literally, teachers shape the way kids, like, how they will contribute to society. Mm-hmm. Teachers should be paid more than they are.
Yeah.
Like, what's the average here in Oklahoma? Like, $40,000 a year?
Yes, around there.
Yeah, and how much is it for, like, doctors and dentists?
God.
$200,000?
I mean, depending on what kind of doctor you are.
It's around $100,000.
Yeah.
So, in the ballpark. Okay, sure, doctors can save people's lives, but teachers have more of an influence. Because, like, you can find the one teacher that gets you, that you can go to for whatever problem you can go to with your parents.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if they can become your mentor. So, like, they can help you. If you're having a hard time in school, you can go to them for advice and like, see what you should be doing and how you can help yourself in your academia.
Yep.
Don't tell me we're out of time.
No, you're fine.
But we're really passionate about this.
I don't know. I love it. I think people... It really does bother me, though. Like, I'm getting a little bit tired because it feels like we are just getting stuck in this mold of trying to create what we think are the perfect world citizens, and it feels like...
There is no such thing. Every person is already perfect just the way they are. Even if it takes them a while to find, like, the one way that they're going to contribute to the world, to society, they're going to get there. They don't need, like, all these structures that try to force them into, like, hey, what are you going to do for the world? Let them come to it in their own time.
Let people be creative. Let them play.
Yes!
Don't just give homework for the sake of giving homework. Let people go out and...
I feel like there should be aptitude tests so that, like, once kids start getting out of middle school, they can start going to specialized courses for what they're good at.
Yes.
Like,
God, yes.
What was it? I used to, like... A long time ago, I used to be really good at, like, drawing, sketching life. You know, like, what would you call it? Still life.
Still life, right.
I was really good at it. We had an amazing art teacher, but I was only able to have art class 5th and 6th grade. After that, they would just fill up too fast, and it wasn't considered, like, a core class. It was an extra curriculum. So, like, I wasn't able to stay in it. And then by the time I was finally, even though I kept telling the counselor I want to be an artist when I grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they kept saying, well, the courses are full by the time you sign up, because we would sign up in order of last name.
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
My maiden name starts with an M. So by the time it was my paperwork went through, there was no room. So, like, senior year, our teacher, he was a good artist, but I was only able to be in art class senior year for the first semester, because the second semester I had to go to something with finance.
Oh, business and,
No. It was taught by another coach, but he was really good with, like, economics. It wasn't home ec. I've been told what it is. But, like, before they took it out, it was the class that taught you how to balance a checkbook and do all those things.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I just remember the class because we learned how to write a check on a napkin.
Yeah. But I think it was taught by the golf coach.
Yeah.
I'll tell you his name after we're done recording.
Well, I guess actually, do you have any winding thoughts? We're kind of at the end here.
Yeah, one last thing. Our teacher in our class, all he had to do was copy things.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a sad story, but we'll leave you with that, audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun the arts.
Fun the arts. Message from AB.
Peace.
Bye.